Plagiarism, 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 plagiarism. I want to actually look at plagiarism within the current debate with Ellen G White and whether Ellen G White was a plagiarist. I want you to understand carefully and clearly here that the issue of plagiarism substantially is really a new phenomenon in the sense that it has not been there for over 1,000 years. And when did Ellen G. White operates in that time was the concept of plagiarism prevalent, was the concept coming up, or during that time that you could actually write and you would have actually garnered the ideas as all of us do as researchers and just write whatever you have garnered plus whatever your thoughts are and write. Did Ellen G. White did this, and was this a concept and a reality during her time period? That must be taken into consideration, because sometimes what some person want to do is to use current truth to look at past truth, and that is a deceptive thing to do, and it's also a malicious thing to do, in the sense that what obtains today is as a result of building on the past. And by building on the past, one is able to reach to a new place, and therefore new things are going to be discovered, new issues are going to emerge, new issues are going to arrive, and we're going to clarify, sometimes deviate from what the normal science is or the normal paradigm. There may be alternative paradigms, there could be conflicting paradigms, and there could be many things that let the current truth be more advanced than the past truth. And one cannot use the current truth to judge the past truth, because the current truth build on the past truth. So when you accuse somebody of plagiarism, that is within the context. It has to be in the context of no. It can't be in the context of the past 50 or 60 years ago, when one does not look at what obtains 50 or 60 years ago in terms of what was acceptable and all of that. So I want you to look at this. It's related to Ryan Day's accusation of Ellen G. White being a plagiarist, and whether you concur with him or whether you don't concur with him. And I want you to understand clearly, periods are important when one is analyzing issues. You can't analyze issues solely on today and judge the past. And I'm trying to let you understand. For you to understand the past, you must go into the past and forget the current reality, which is what possible Ryan Day was actually doing. Let's look here, listen what he has to say.
Writers, and so that was a big one for me. The plagiarism thing, I mean, it's just overwhelming that this woman made people believe that God gave her a message that she clearly took from another man-made mind, all the while claiming that it was from God and given to her in vision. I mean, my goodness, when you get into the testimonies are full of them.
All right, let me share this with you right before we get into this video. While God, and this is crucial for you to understand this. This is coming from GC, and we are at page 527. Okay. While God has given ample evidence for faith, he will never remove all excuse for unbelief. All who look for...
And I want to stop that presentation there. We need to understand clearly, which I don't think some persons are looking at, and even those persons who are trying to lambast Ryan Day or trying to understand his thing to say, okay, then he was right or wrong. What fundamentally I'm saying to you, the current truth built on past truth. There's going to be modification, because what we don't have in this world is absolute truth, because we don't have all the answers, all the information. We are eternal, we are in God. And even if we are in essence beings that existed from prehistoric times, we didn't exist then and carrying our current mind with us based on the past mind. And therefore we're unable to judge a number of things that transpired in the past. What we can do is look at them and actually say whether they're unjust or fair, but to actually say they are not truth, or to say, listen, Ellen G. White plagiarized simply on current truth, current reality, is an understatement and a malicious one. So I'm not defending Ellen G. White in no breath, no imagination at all. What I'm doing, I'm looking at fundamental issues that are used to judge things. Because sometimes what we want to do is judge the past based on the current reality, and you can't, because the current reality is the past plus no. And if you take away the past out of the current reality, the no can't be used to examine nothing at all, because the no is unfolding as we speak. And the fact that the no is unfolding as we speak, we can't use the null to judge nothing at all, because the null is currently being written, and therefore it is not anything substantial to be used as a guide, a platform, or a base, or even a framework to understand anything. And the null cannot be used to establish any form of science. The past is also needed. And therefore, when Ryan Day says this, it would give the notion that Ellen G's White writings were based on no, based on things that happened, and therefore is able to judge her based on what is happening. No, and I'm saying that's a deceptive thing. No, what I would want us to understand, though, and if that is true, based on what Ryan is saying, we need to look at it. If Ellen G. White that she saw and she did not, then I would have an issue with that. But we need to establish whether that part is the truth or not. That part is to be dealt with, because that part would not be plagiarism. That part would be done right lie in the event she did that. That we need to examine, and examine with brevity, examine with depth, examine with detail, examine it as though we're archaeologists, examine it as though we're anthropologists, looking at issues, looking at cues to sort of see if this was or not. No, we need to understand, and I want to guard you here. When we are doing our interpretations of this, we need to be careful that we don't see flickers of light, flickers of evidence that this is, and use those flickers of evidence to come to a concretized position on the matter. So it is rather technical within the context that it occurred a particular period which is outside of our period, and we're looking at the period where it transpired and comparing it with the current period, with the current information that we have. And Ellen G. White, at that time when she would have done the writings, did not have our current understanding. She would have had the past understanding plus the time that she was in, and therefore would have been doing our writings and doing all of that conceptualization and doing all of that philosophical building in terms of building of education, building of a religion, etc. She would have had the past plus the time that she was in. Where we are now, we would have had the past, which would be Ellen G. White's time, the time before that, to really interpret the things. And therefore, it is somewhat deceptive and difficult to understand all the parameters, all the conditions, and actually make a definitive position, a definitive statement, a definitive perspective on what transpired when Ellen G. White was doing the writing and the no. So that is going to be critical in terms of understanding. And there is where the gray area lies. And I am saying, because there's so much of a gray area in that, I would not want to say Ellen G. White lied. I wouldn't want to say anything of that sort, except there is evidence without a doubt that she wrote out of context that she saw if she had read somebody's work. I would have an issue here with that. If that can't be established, then the other issue about plagiarism should not be held against Ellen G. White. Let's have a discussion on the matter. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel as I continue to provide trusted information for you to use to make decisions. Remember, as I said before, I am always giving you information to critically look at things, because to use today to judge yesterday and to say that you are better than yesterday is a deception in itself. Let's have a discussion on the matter.